Okay, so in this poster, it's just very plain and simple. It's a lot of verbs you'd use in German throughout your initial studies in the first person using ich, I. So they're useful present tense verbs. So I'm just going to go through all of them and just tell you what they are in English. Note that when you're talking about the ich form, all of the verbs end in e. With the exception here is ich bin, because it's an irregular verb. An irregular verb means that the spelling changes as you go down to the I, you, he, she. A regular verb is a verb that does not change spelling as you go down the I, you, he, she. However, in this poster we are talking about useful present tense verbs, and we are looking at ich, because when you are writing, when you are talking, you are going to use ich a lot of the time. So it makes sense to focus on this. So I've organized the poster in a P and an or. For P and or, the first two letters are present. So let's start with ich bin at the top of the poster. Ich bin, and we'll go down horizontally. So, or sorry, we go down vertically, I apologize. Ich bin, I am. Ich arbeite, I work. Ich esse, I eat. Ich trinke, I drink. Ich fahre, I travel. Ich fliege, I fly. Ich gebe, I give. Ich komme, I come. And ich stelle, as I put or place. Now let's go around the semicircular part. Ich habe, I have. Ich helfe. So there's an N here that should not be there. So when you helfen with the en, it's the verb in the infinitive. The infinitive is a verb that has the en on it. So what you have to do, you have to take off the en and you're left with helf. In another video you understand that is called a stem of the verb. And then because with ich, you just put on an e. So in the classroom I would say I-E, I-E, I-E. Sounds very silly, but whenever you have ich for I, you'd always put on an E. So I-E, I-E. So ich helfe. Ich kann, I can. Ich kaufe, I buy. Ich laufe, I run. Ich lese, I read. Ich mache, I make or I do. Und ich sehe. Okay, so now let's continue down the rest of the P. Ich komme, we have already I come. Ich putze, I clean. Ich rede, I chat. Ich schreibe, I write. Ich spare, I save. Ich spiele, I play. Ich spende, I donate. Now pay attention with ich spende, because ich spende is not to spend, it's to donate. Ich höre, I listen to. Ich lerne, I learn. Ich muss, I must. Ich nehme, I take. Now let's go over to the or, and we're going to go down, starting with sprechen. So again, as I say, if you have the verb sprechen, as I've just said, you take off the en, you're left with sprech, which is the stem of the verb, and then because it's I-E, 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 it's ich spreche. So ich spreche as I speak. Ich studiere, I study. Ich suche, I look for. So when you're using ich suche, you don't say ich suche für, because ich suche is the equivalent of the English I look for. Ich surfe, I surf the internet, for example. Ich bleibe, I stay or remain. Ich brauche, I need. Ich schwimme, I swim. Ich sehe fern, I watch television. Ich singe, I sing. Ich verstehe, I understand. Now let's go around the outline of the or. Ich tanze, I dance. Ich verdiene, I earn. Ich verkaufe, I sell. Ich plaudiere, I chat or quarrel or have discourse with people. Ich weiß, I know. Ich rede, again, I chat, I discuss. Ich will, I want. Now, in another video we'll discuss that ik wil is I want. If you're discussing I will do something in the future, it's ik werde. But as long as you know ik wil is I want. Ik darf, I'm allowed, ik habe voor, I intend to. Now, because I have the line in the middle, when you're writing a sentence of ich habe, the voor goes to the end of the sentence. Ich interessiere mich für. I am interested in. Komme aus. Ich komme aus. So again in the sentence, ich komme aus. Ich reise. Now you're going to focus on the big red writing of ich, and I have a few extra verbs there we're going to discuss. So we'll do the ones at P first. Ich teile, I share. Ich treibe Sport, I play sport. Note you would never say ich mache Sport. You'd say ich treibe if you're talking about sport as the concept. Ich mache Fußball, or ich spiele Rugby, sorry. So, ich treibe Sport, but you would then go on and say ich spiele Rugby, ich spiele Tennis. So, ich treibe Sport, ich mache Sport, same thing. But when you're talking about the actual sport, like rugby, tennis, camogie, you'd use spiele. So, going on to the or, you have ich teile, I share, ich wohne, I live, and ich wiederhole, I repeat. Okay, so they're useful present tense verbs. The final batch of them, of these verbs I'm going to discuss, are at the very top of the page in a column-like fashion. Note that a lot of these verbs start with ich fange, and then you have the sentence in the middle, and then an goes at the end. So, I begin. Ich freue mich, I'm looking forward to. Ich gebe aus, I spend money or I give money for. So, ich gebe, whatever you're buying, and aus goes at the end. In the very same way, ich gehe spazieren, I go walking. Ich höre something zu, I'm listening to. Ich passe auf, whatever you're looking after, and then auf at the end, I'm looking after something. Ich räume, whatever you're cleaning up, and then auf goes at the end. Ich wasche mich, I wash myself. Ich wasche mich is a reflexive verb, we'll discuss that in another video. Ich ziehe mich an, I'm putting on my clothes. Ich ziehe mich aus, I'm taking off my clothes. Ich ziehe mich I'm changing my clothes. And lastly, ich sauge Staub, I'm vacuum cleaning. And I put a line under the Staub, S for Staub, because it has a capital letter.